Okay, this video, we have a hint now. Now, I don't have the answer, but this is a hint. Finally, I found something that can help us researchers get to the resolution. First, just want to say, I've already stated that this king right here is King Solomon. I've already finalized. I just need to find a way to prove it. And he created the greatest temple ever, Angkor Wat, which is Solomon's temple. I could be wrong, but this is King Solomon. I just need to find a way to prove it, right? So, remember Solomon, right, ruled the entire King Surivarman II ruled Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar, Burma, Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia. All right? Get back to the point. So, when I was researching, right, King Solomon, King Surivarman, King Solomon, King Surivarman, right, I end up seeing some really weird stuff, right? So, when I type this in, right, I end up finding out something about, like I typed first, so then, right, so if you know Solomon is actually spelled Suleiman in Muslim, right? So I typed Suleiman name in Cambodia. The Suleiman name and various like Suleiman is the Arabic and Islamic form of the name Solomon, carrying the beautiful meaning of peace or peaceful one in Cambodia. This name is primarily found within the country's ethnic Cham Muslim minority communities. Now, if you've been researching, right, if you research this stuff, you know that there's a Hindu Cham community in Southeast Asia countries like Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam. They're like basically Hindu Asians or Hindu Canaanites, right? And then I heard about Suleiman Tajar recorded some of his earliest historical accounts of ancient Khmer. And I'm like, why is there an Asian name and a Persian name named Suleiman, right? And then I end up finding something. Professor Solehah claims that Prophet Solomon, right? Which would be, which one was it? It'll be that one. So I could just go back to that one. So, and this is a real person, right? Professor Solehah claims that the Prophet Solomon or Suleiman converted the king of Angkor to Islam. Is that true? Let's answer. Now we go to the YouTube video, right? That's the woman right there, Solehah Yacoob, right? Beautiful woman, by the way. History.
But this is your.
And this dude, he was trying to make fun of her, saying that what she was saying was dumb, but I don't think what she was saying was dumb, sir. But let's go ahead and I think she was trying to give you a hint about something. Since you know. Oh no. Fair use pronunciation, because it's gonna get copyrighted. I hope it doesn't. As long as no play music, right?
Fair use.
Latino. In recent weeks, the professor lady by the name of Solehah Yacoob make another hot allegation saying that the Malay ancient maritime taught the Romans how to build ships. Okay, let's hear what she has to say in this video clip.
Maritim, orang Melayu di Funan ini. Mereka ini sehingga kan dikenali sebagai
Yeah, this is probably gonna get copyrighted because the music.
kerajaan maritim kan oleh daripada orang Melayu. Macam mana nak buat kapal?
Romans learned shipbuilding from the Malays.
Melayu belajar ini artifak 788 lebih.
He's laughing because I think he's Roman, right? Or fifth Roman, I don't know, but I don't think she's laughing because she knows something, right? And we look her up, right? And it's weird. You have a Malaysian woman with the last name Yacoob, Now I'm not saying she's an Israelite, but I'm saying a Malaysian woman. Now she might be she could be a Hamite, but right. She's a linguistic academic author who has served as professor, so she knows what she's talking about, bro. I think she knows what she's talking about. She's just not saying the correct way.
Kita kena
See, you
naikkan
be
balik
laughing.
jati diri kita. Ya 2 juta tu rial.
Malays, which is the maritime powers, had taught the Romans how to build ships. We probably should have seen the Roman ships called like the each is really need to quote and unquote.
Well, how about you go read a book, sir? She actually gave a hint. Well, this video could be a failure, but she gave a hint for you, sir. So, how about you go read? How about you go do factual data, sir? Let's scroll down. Translate to English. What's they're talking about? Providing, right? They're misleading. They're laughing. Embarrassing. All right. Now, let's go back to this part. Prophet Solomon lived around the 10th century BC, 970-931 BC in Middle East, the ancient kingdom of Israel. We already know it's not there, right? Meanwhile, the Khmer Angkor civilization only developed more than 1,800 years later around the 9th century in the modern-day Cambodia. This represents a time span nearly 2 millennia. Chronologically, it is impossible for Prophet Solomon to have interacted directly from the Angkor people. There are no records of the ancient Khmer inscriptions, artifacts, or texts that indicate the influence or the presence of figures from the Hebrew or Islamic traditions at that time. The dominant religions at Angkor during its heyday were Hindu Shaivism and later Mahayana, right, and Theravada Buddhism, not Islam. Records of Islam only began to appear in Southeast Asia in the 13th century CE, long after the collapse of Angkor Peak. Note, such claims usually arise from the pseudo-historical interpretations of attempts to link from figures from the Bible or the Quran. Remember, we're both kind of believing the same thing, just they had called Allah, with Southeast Asian civilizations to say traces of an ancient Islam. Right? Now, we scroll down to here. The extraordinary Professor Solehah Yacoob said Sidhartha Kaja is of Malaysian descent. Prophet Solomon once visited, I need to find an interview, Malaysia Peninsula. Malays could fly. Chinese Kung Fu experts learned to fly from Malaysians. Borobudur Temple is a Malay civilization. Malays were experts in making iron swords for Rome and the Arabs. Then they made the katana sword. You know, all the fancy, cool Asian swords come from Asia, right? So she is creating an international issue with foreign countries for Malaysia. Better Malaysian government shut her up quick. How about you shut up? She might be trying to educate you something, sir. Now we're gonna get to more stuff. Found another one. Professor Solehah Yacoob claims Malays are direct descendants of the Prophet Abraham. Professor Solehah Yacoob from Malaysia in this lecture in Patani, Thailand, claimed that there were only 3 oldest nations in the world after the death of Prophet Abraham. 1, the Israelites, the descendants of Isaac, which we all know from researching is where? Either in obviously Thailand, because Judea, Ayodhya, right? And then Cambodia, because we had some Cambodians talking about they god kings, right? Because they were around them, saying that they were taller, remember, right? The Arabs, descendants of Ishmael, which would be some in America, some in North Africa, right? I forgot what Lex Will said. And the Malays. Whoa. Here's the hint. And I hope this is correct. And the Malays, whom she links to Midian, a son of Keturah, believed to be Abraham's third wife from Champa. Let's go to Shem. Let's go to Abraham genealogy. So you got. Well, actually, we're gonna do Shem first. We're gonna do Shem genealogy, right? Right. This is the best one. Got Shem, Elam. We learned this is in Africa. Sure, we learned the people are in Africa. And some parts of the Caribbean. Arpachshad, right? Shelah, Sila, Fiji, Eber, Heber, the Ibri people of West Africa. You also got the Haber dynasty in India. You also got what is it? Heber. I forgot. I did the research. Peleg. You got Iki Peleg in the Dani tribe in Indonesia. You got the Ufra in Thailand. You got Rayu. That's a name. That's a name. Or Rayu or Ragu. There's an island in the Pacific Islands called Ragu Islands, Fiji, right? Seru. There's a famous Fijian king named King Seru Espineza, right? Terra. There's it's it, right? But when you get down to Abraham, Nahor, you already know about, Ishmael, right? Ishmaelites. We already know Isaac, Israelites, right? Hebron, right? But there's another one. Ishbak, Zimran, Shua, Medan, Jokshan, Midian. This is Keturah, right? We get Abraham, right? By Keturah, Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, Shua, right? So we get back to this part. So remember, she's Islam. They believe in Allah, right? They believe in Allah. So what I'm saying is when she's doing her research, that's why she has a YouTube channel. I'm gonna try to email to try to talk more about this, right? But when she probably believes the same thing that Asia is the ancient land too. She probably believes that too somewhat, right? It's just the difference is they're believing that it's all Allah. We believe it's higher, right? So I'm saying is, right, when she's saying Malays and Keturah, right, that it's important, right? So when we go to, right, there goes Keturah, right, and then there's another claim, right? So when you type Jokshan, Malaysia, right? Here's I just want to show you this right quick. We go to this link right here. Translate it to English. Keturah, the Malay mother. In the Old Testament, there's a story about Keturah, the woman who was married by Abraham after Sarah's death. Though this marriage, Keturah gave birth to 6 sons: Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, Shua. According to the narration of the Ibn Athir book Al-Kamir fil Tariq, the people of the archipelago, including the Malays, prayed directly to Abraham through his descendants with Keturah. According to the Ibn Yusuf's notes in the book Permatata Yang Halang, right, there's a possibility that the name Malay comes from the word Malay in conjunction with the name of the Chaldean king where Abraham originated. There is also an opinion that Malay comes from the word Malay and Yunnan. The Malays are known as the Orang Malay by some other races, but the Arabs tend to call the Malays Bani Jawai. These Malays, hill or mountain people, may have inhabited Cambodia before Abraham arrived there, and it was almost certain that Keturah was a Malay. Right? So we probably got a hint right here that Malaysia is what? The lineage of Keturah, right? And we have a lady who said that the last, I think she said the Angkor king, right? She said an Angkor king converted to Islam, right? Angkor king converted to Islam. Right, so Prophet converted the king of Angkor to Islam. Right. Now we're gonna look a little bit more for in the video. I'm just gonna start typing stuff now, but if so we got Zimran, Jokshan, right? Let's type Keturah. Was it Malaysia? So Keturah was a concubine of the biblical patriarch, a patriarch Abraham. According to the Book of Genesis, Abraham married Keturah after the death of his first wife. A professor from Southeast Asia claims that the Keturah comes from Keturah Champa. Is that true? She's right. She also claimed that the Malays are descendants of Keturah and Prophet Ibrahim. Let's type some other stuff. Let's type Medan, Malaysia. So there's a place called Medan, is the capital of the largest city in Indonesia. The Strait of Malacca, where what? The Muslims, right? Medan. There's a place called Medan in Indonesia. And what's that? A son of Shem. So yeah, this lineage, these people are still here. Let's type Shua, Malaysia. Sabah. And then when we type Sabah, Borneo, right? People, or I don't know. I forgot what it was. But indigenous groups, right? Okay, it won't show. All right, but right now, I want to type this indigenous Malaysian, right? You got the Orang Asal. I don't know what that translates to the this. However, when you go down, you got the Benjamin people, supposedly, right? Sonoy, Yacoob. What if Yacoob is Jokshan? I don't know. Look like Hamites, but and then you got Ishbak, Shua, right? Borneo, right? But yeah, that's all we got right now. I'm just trying to tell you that this lineage of Abraham by Keturah could be in Malaysia, right? So yeah.